Welcome to this lesson, where we will delve into Seamus Heaney's evocative poem, Storm on the Island. While you may already be familiar with the poem's narrative and overarching themes, today we aim to explore how Heaney's masterful use of language and structure intricately conveys the raw power of nature and the profound sense of isolation felt during the storm. We will first examine Heaney's vivid imagery, which immerses the reader in the intensity and impact of the storm. Then, we'll uncover the significance of his personification, adding depth to our understanding of the storm's influence. Moving on, we will analyse the poem's single stanza structure. Additionally, we'll consider Heaney's use of enjambment and its effect on the poem's continuity and fluidity. By the end of this lesson, you will have a greater appreciation of how these elements intertwine to reflect the relentless and unyielding force of nature. Before we dive in, just a quick recap. The relevant theme for this poem is nature and the environment. Let's begin. Heaney uses vivid imagery to convey the raw power and impact of the storm on the island. This imagery plays a crucial role in conveying the intensity and isolation experienced during the storm. This is evident in the lines, but there are no trees, no natural shelter. You might think that the sea is company, exploding comfortably down on the cliffs. The phrase, no trees, no natural shelter, immediately establishes a stark, barren landscape, emphasizing the inhabitants' exposure to the storm's full force. The absence of trees and shelter suggests vulnerability and a lack of protection, highlighting the desolation of the environment and the inhabitants' helplessness in the face of nature's power. The line, "You might think that the sea is company," introduces a potential misconception, suggesting that the sea could be perceived as a friendly, comforting presence. However, the subsequent imagery, exploding comfortably down on the cliffs, juxtaposes this expectation with the violent reality. The word exploding evokes a sense of sudden, powerful impact, contradicting the idea of the sea as a gentle companion. The oxymoronic phrase, exploding comfortably, creates an image of the sea's waves crashing against the cliffs with ease and regularity. The use of comfortably adds an ironic twist, suggesting that the sea's violence is a routine, almost casual occurrence, further emphasizing the relentless and indifferent power of nature. Another important point of language analysis is the use of personification to convey the intensity and relentlessness of the storm. This is seen in these two lines. Leaves and branches can raise a tragic chorus in a gale. This imagery personifies the natural elements, giving them human-like qualities that create a powerful and dramatic effect. By describing the leaves and branches as raising a tragic chorus, Heaney evokes the sense of a dramatic performance, but one filled with sorrow and loss. This personification highlights the destructive power of the storm, showing how it can transform the ordinary sounds of nature into something mournful and overpowering. The phrase tragic chorus also alludes to Greek tragedies, where the chorus comments on the actions of the characters, often foreshadowing doom and disaster. Similarly, in the poem, the natural elements seem to predict and announce the devastation brought by the storm, underscoring the theme of human vulnerability and the uncontrollable might of nature. This personification allows the reader to visualize and feel the relentless force of the storm, emphasizing the islanders' sense of isolation and helplessness as they face the raging elements. Seamus Heaney's Storm on the Island consists of a single, unbroken stanza. This mirrors the overwhelming and unrelenting nature of the storm described within the poem. This continuous block of text creates a sense of immediacy and immersion, pulling the reader directly into the experience of facing the storm without any pauses or breaks. The lack of stanza breaks contributes to the relentless feeling of the storm, much like the unending wind and rain that the poem describes. For instance, the line, "We are prepared, we build our houses squat," immediately introduces the reader to the resilience and readiness of the islanders, while the subsequent lines flow seamlessly to illustrate the escalating intensity of the storm. This structural choice also emphasizes the collective experience of the islanders, who face the storm together as a community, reflected in the use of the inclusive we. The unbroken stanza underscores the unity and solidarity of the people in the face of nature's relentless force. Therefore, the poem's structure is central to conveying the themes of resilience, community, and the formidable power of nature. Now, let's delve into another significant structural aspect. Heaney employs enjambment throughout the poem to create a sense of continuity and fluidity in the narrative. Enjambment occurs when a sentence or phrase runs over the end of one line and continues on to the next without a pause. This technique mimics the relentless and continuous onslaught of the storm, mirroring its unbroken power and the persistent threat it poses to the islanders. For example, Heaney writes, "Nor are there trees which might prove company when it blows full blast, you know what I mean?" The enjambment in this quotation flows from the lack of trees which would provide shelter to the full force of the storm. This enhances the naturalness of the poem's rhythm and mirrors the relentless and escalating intensity of the storm. This technique also contributes to the poem's immersive quality, drawing readers into the evolving narrative and intensifying their engagement with the imagery and themes of nature's power and human vulnerability. Today, we have covered how Heaney's vivid imagery conveys the raw power and impact of the storm, highlighting the inhabitants' exposure and vulnerability in a desolate environment. The personification of natural elements, such as leaves and branches, can raise a tragic chorus in a gale, emphasizes the storm's destructive power, and evokes a sense of sorrow and loss. Structurally, the poem's single, unbroken stanza mirrors the relentless nature of the storm, creating immediacy and immersion while emphasizing the islanders' collective experience and resilience. Furthermore, the use of enjambment enhances the sense of continuity and fluidity, mimicking the storm's unceasing onslaught and intensifying the reader's engagement with the narrative. Good work! See you next time! Watch the rest of the GCSE English Literature course at Sophos Education.